Good day, happy people. Yes, it's a beautiful day, summer 2019. My name is Scott. I am your host. Welcome to another Q&A Friday where you send in the questions and I give you some answers. Hopefully some good ones. Guess where I am today? Big body of water. Maybe a familiar skyline. I'm on the shores of Lake Michigan in downtown Milwaukee. And there's a freshwater inlet. I believe that's what that is. There's a lighthouse. Who doesn't like lighthouses? Thankfully, there's no stairs to climb, and that. Got some really great questions today. We're talking about the Wi-Fi and internet again, talking about some rooftop storage, and somebody asked about my jewelry. That's pretty cool. And a lot of shout outs around the 4th of July video just posted a couple days ago. So let's get into it right now. And got some great questions today. Just loving this location. Kyle and I rode our bikes down through here a couple of days ago, and I thought this would be a perfect place to make a video. What do you think? Spectacular. All right, first questions. First question comes from Crystal Stevens. Crystal asks, where did you park in downtown Chicago? I went there about a month ago and tried to stay at a bus parking area, but it was full, so I ended up driving through, not staying in Chicago. Crystal, that is a great question. All right, so here's another great example of why Class B RVs are all the rage, because I can fit in a standard parking lot spot in an urban environment. I'm going to spin around here. I am in downtown Chicago, about 1 block from the Chicago River, which is that way. In fact, there's Trump Tower right there, boys and girls, which is actually on the river. And this way, about 1.5 blocks, is the Apple Michigan Avenue store, where I'm gonna go and just check things out. So I'm using one of those parking apps like Spot Hero or ParkWiz. And this is just a great spot right here because there's a bunch of vans. Here's somebody clearly got a little hitch mount storage unit thing. Here's a trailer, van, bunch of vans. I've kind of squeezed Lily in here, sort of on purpose, so that I have my side door open right now. The front windshield is facing the sidewalk, which is sort of busy right now, but will be quiet tonight, which I like because I don't want to cover everything up. I'll probably cover out the back windows, but this is just an ideal urban camping spot for me. But just look at this crazy environment that I'm in. This is just van life at its most wonderful. Assuming I don't get the knock on the door. I don't think I will. It's not attended, and I've bought the spot until tomorrow afternoon. So again, just an amazing place. In fact, there's a fellow T. Spin around so you can just see. There's a fellow Travato owner right there from Wyoming. Can't remember the plate, but I put a note on their door. Maybe they'll reach out, and extremely cool. So. Urban camping, downtown Chicago, 28 bucks, something like that. Pretty astounding. I always scope the spot out driving around before I buy, just to see if there's any height restrictions, kind of check out the area. But again, just look at this crazy environment that hopefully gonna call home for tonight. There's a walkway with the pedestrians, kind of groovy. There's lots to do around here. Great question, Crystal. Next question, kind of from Brad L. and Dima, along the same lines of the Wi-Fi WineGuard video I posted recently. And Brad saying, "Hey Scott, I think you got this backwards. Did you put the SIM card for Verizon in the WineGuard?" And Dima's like, this video is really confusing. You're using your jetpack as an internet source, so right away you're disregarding you have WineGuard cellular antennas. on the high spot outside the van. So let me try and clarify it. And it is a little confusing, and I'm doing it a little counterintuitive on purpose. So the reason I have a jetpack is to pull in the Verizon internet source and create a Wi-Fi network wherever I am. And sometimes that's not in the van. Sometimes that could be riding my bike out into, well, not into the water, but out someplace away from the van. I've even had to take my jetpack into restaurants or a brewery, some pub where they say they have Wi-Fi. I start to upload a video, and the Verizon is significantly faster off my jetpack. So I haul my jetpack out of the van and into the place where I'm doing the video upload. In that case, for a change of scenery, because I could have done it in the van. But I just want maximum flexibility of having the jetpack to go wherever I am, not that it's stuck in the van. Hopefully that's not too windy. Move that back a little bit. So that's kind of reason number one, is maximum flexibility. Reason number two is I really want to have multiple sources of internet without relying on any one system. So the jetpack is number one, my phone would be number two, probably my iPad number three, and then the WineGuard system itself with its pre-installed SIM in the device on top of the roof as a fourth source of internet should the others fail or for whatever reason. And the WineGuard, so if I installed the Verizon Jetpack SIM into the WineGuard system on the roof, I wouldn't have the flexibility, and I've just eliminated one of four options to get internet service. I certainly understand about the latency, and you can connect, and I'm okay with that because when I'm using the Jetpack, I do have the Verizon connected to it, creating it, a Wi-Fi network around the van. I connect my laptop directly to the Jetpack for maximum throughput. That's the best practice that I'm enjoying there. And what else do you guys talk about here? And then Demon says, can't you connect multiple devices to the Jetpack? Yes, absolutely, up to 15, I believe. But I'm only connecting the WineGuard Lily van and my laptop. Next question comes from Jeannie Shadle. Hi Scott, regards to Cheryl's question, storage space on top of the roof of the Travato. Often wondered if it's possible to customize a rack that would attach to the perimeter rails and rise up over the air conditioner. Maybe this could hold her storage bins. Any thoughts? I actually entertained this idea for a different reason, to create a space that could be used as a sitting platform so one can enjoy the view from a higher elevation. Do you think it's feasible? Whoa. So my thoughts on rooftop storage is you could probably make something happen. You probably have to remove the solar panels and just use the rails of the storage rack itself. Or build a platform over the solar panels, which kind of makes them useless because they'd be in the shade, and put storage above that, or maybe get some little feet that stick up above the rails. You still be kind of covering a portion of your solar panels, but that would give you the probably the ability to put some storage up there. But again, my thoughts on storage lately, folks, is if you're needing to store a bunch of stuff, really evaluate what the heck is it, why do you need it, how often will you use it. Again, for my purposes, maximum flexibility was the name of the game, and to roll around with a bunch of stuff hanging off the back or plugged or stored up on top, it just limits your ability to use it, number one, because it's kind of going to be hard to get to, and you stick out like a sore thumb if you're trying to be stealthy-ish, and you probably won't use it as much as you think. It certainly has been my case anyway. But let's take a look up there. All right, so we're going to take the ladder off the back and put it on the side so we can show you some of the solar storage and a pop-up question, which is really amazing. But what's missing from the back, guys, gals? Where are the bikes? Well, the bikes are comfortably inside the hotel. Kyle and I have been running around Milwaukee riding the bikes, and here the bike rack is empty, and it's been pretty cool. That's one of the reasons I really highly recommend getting bikes, so that when you get to a place you can unrack them and ride them around and just leave the rig parked. It's really nice. But let's move the ladder. as you know, it just lifts off and then it puts on itself. The view for a minute, shall we? Ooh, that's gonna be windy. All right, hopefully this isn't too windy. So let's talk about this rooftop storage situation again. So what you might be able to get away with is like some brackets or feet that essentially clip onto the rails here, and they're elevated enough to clear the solar panel, but you would probably lose the effectiveness of the storage panel or the solar panel by doing that. But that certainly would be a possibility, and you have plenty of room from the front, let's say, to this rail, or from this rail to where the chairs are in front of the Coleman to make that happen. This lifts up quite a bit, so that space would not be available unless you're really high, in which case you're probably creating some aerodynamic issues and just more height. I have a wine guard here, obviously, so you'd have to put something there to clear that. So that would be a possibility. And then on the front, you could probably do that, but then you're missing the effectiveness of the solar panel here. But that's probably possible. Probably Google that up and find some. Maybe even check with Thule. How do you say it? Or the Yakima storage box guys, and just see what they recommend. But this rail on that side is not available because of the Carefree awning. So you have only this one rail here. So I'm thinking you're working with this rail, maybe the front rail. So that would be the questions on that. Again, it goes back to kind of what are you storing, how badly do you need it, and you have to get up here and get on it every time. So I think after a few times of trying to do that, you'd find it's probably more work than it's worth. But again, it really depends on what you're doing. So for instance, I've mounted my my folding chairs here, my camp folding chairs. I've never used them, but they did fit, so I'm gonna bring them with me. I just haven't been in a location where I've needed them yet. Maybe when I get out west and some parks and what have you. Ooh, it's windy. Hope this is gonna come through. So I'm okay with that because it's useless, space that was available and they fit and it's out of the way, and maybe someday I'll use them. But I just go back to why store stuff. So let's talk about do we want to have a pop top? Now I have seen a seating platform that lifts up. Now there was a guy in the Facebook Travato owner and wannabe group that did a crazy custom installation where he made a platform back here that did have solar panels on it that he would lift up like this, I think it went, and that became like a patio up here, which is extremely cool. A very clever individual. I think it's an amazing idea. I think I would probably do that if it was an option, because it just sounds really great, and then you'd have a view like this, but then you're kind of giving yourself away again. So I don't know how, in an urban setting, how often it'd be used. So if you're in a park or something like that, yeah, probably. I don't know, it sounds really cool though. And then Burrito John's asked a good question about would I want a soft top pop-up on my rig here, like the Heimers? And the answer is an emphatic no. I've seen those units, Burrito, and while they look really cool, they're probably a great place to park the grandkids for a weekend, but for full-timers, I need this setup. I need air conditioning, I need solar, I need wine guards. They'd probably figure out a way to do a max fan, I guess. And the ones that I've seen in Heimer, they didn't have any electricity in them. There was no air conditioning for that space for sure, if there was any AC at all. So pop tops, while cool, if I need to see the view from a high distance, I go get on a bridge, get on a hill. Question on Burrito John's. As I look around, the roof line here, I suppose it'd be interesting to have more headroom, but I don't feel claustrophobic in this at all. I I don't know what the latest models of Hymer and some of the other pop-up ones look like, so I would be mistaken to give advice on things I really don't fully know. Maybe some of the folks out there have looked at those rigs specifically. I did do a Hymer 1.0 with a pop-top video last spring, I think it was. I'll put it here. But while I was impressed, again, for kind of the extra sleeping area and someplace to park the grandkids or something, but a full-timer like me, I just could not see that being effective space for all the reasons I mentioned up on the roof. So I kind of like having the comfort of hard surface above me. I guess I'm kind of weird. All right, last question. Last question comes from New Wester. Happy Forest, Scott. Thank you, New Wester. Same to you. He goes on, thanks for the positive, thoughtful post. I'm with you on gratitude for many of the contributions others make that allow us to have the levels of freedom we enjoy in the USA. He goes on to say, is that St. Christopher, patron of Saint of Safe Travels? I assume... Oh, now I gotta get undressed. Ta-da! So I assume that's what New Wester's talking about. And actually, that was a really good guess. And the answer is no. This is actually St. Anthony. That is my patron saint. That's my middle name, Anthony. And parent given name, Scott Anthony Watson. And I asked my mom recently why she chose St. Anthony as my patron saint and my middle name, and that was because she had gone to St. Anthony's School as a little girl. So that's pretty cool. And he's a pretty famous saint. You know, not as famous as St. Patrick's and some of the others, but he's right up there. Every time you go into a big church, guess who's sitting there looking, or standing usually, looking at me? That'd be St. Anthony, so that's pretty cool. You comment, Noester, on loving the look, especially the ring and the wrist accoutrements. I really appreciate you bringing that up. It's just part of my whole defrocking of the corporate expectation lifestyle thing, and while I'm very plugged into the corporate community, I'm even more plugged into exploring, learning, getting out of my comfort zone. I wouldn't say I've always wanted to look like Johnny Depp, but I think it's a really cool look, kind of the bohemian look, and it reminds me, it's a very visual reminder to me to think different, see the big picture, see the artsy-fartsy, the good in all that's around me. And that's kind of why, frankly, I'm wearing them. Although I think it looks kind of cool and goes with van life in general. I think I wear it often to remind me of places. So like this bracelet, for example, was bought, or these are in Miami when I was with the Trongs. It was a kind of a fun story around those. It's kind of like Buddhist prayer beads. This was handmade by an artist in San Antonio. I got a couple of those leather bracelet things. And then these were rings that I found at Madison Street Market. This one's cool. It's got a black crystal. And this one is really kind of groovy. So let me give you a rundown on this. So the ladies might be more familiar than the guys about spoon collection. So there's collections of spoons of like the state. So you have 50 spoons in a collection, 1 spoon for each state. Presidents are another popular spoon collection, and this is a sterling silver spoon that an artist has turned into a ring. If you guys can see this. And what attracted me to it is the dude's face. The dude turns out to be, it's not going to show up very well. So I'm going to take a picture and put it here in the video. What attracted me was the guy's face. Everything else had kind of, well, anyway. So it turned out, I didn't do much research. I just kind of bought it. It was $15, and it fit. That was kind of my big criteria, and it looked cool. This is President Garfield. He was our 20th president. He was in office for 6.5 months because he was assassinated. He was the second president to get assassinated by somebody that he lost the election, or that he won the election from. He was in office a very short time, but actually accomplished a number of things that we still really have a ripple effect from today. One of those being he kind of put the Senate's power in place, in check, if you will. I thought that was pretty impressive, and he had been in public service for decades, and he was the only member of Congress and still the member of the House to be elected as president. Pretty interesting guy. He was pretty young. I think he was in his 40s when he died, but it was kind of fun. I bought the ring because I thought it would look cool. I did some research and I found out hey, it's a pretty cool dude. So again, there you go. And until we meet again, which is hopefully next week, I wish you to journey on. So hopefully you got something out of this today. Q&A Friday, love those. Get those questions coming in. I'm hitting the road now with the corporate work stuff done. I'm hitting the road and doing a lot more travel. And I just love having you along for the journey. It just warms my heart that each and every one of you watch, comment, a lot of you anyway, but just really appreciate this. It's really excited for the next few months. We're going to be hitting territory we have not been before. So please like, subscribe, comment. You guys know the drill.